All right, for those just tuning in, we just wrapped up our game. Necrons and DeathWatch with the final score DeathWatch 90 to a Necron 60. So I've been having a rough time with the Necrons lately.
Yeah, maybe we should try them in something besides DeathWatch, because DeathWatch love playing against them.
Right, with all the rerolls that you get into me, it's like, oh, cool. It's like way it used to be with Grey Knights into Demons, except that was actually the other way around. Grey Knights would be like, oh, cool, I have all these demon buffs. And then demons just go, oh, cool, if you destroy one of my units for 1 CP, I just bring the entire unit back. And you go, oh, wait, I'm anti-demon? But yeah, no, it's been tough. It's been rough with it. I think it's looking at the game and evaluating it. I don't run Catans a lot, so I might be playing it wrong. Maybe moving him to center is not the way to go. Maybe I should not have put him in the middle and just try to go with his bulk durability. Maybe moving him to the outside and kind of like looking back on it, you don't have anything to really sit on an objective and stay there for a long time. And with that objective being right in the middle, the spiders, the Doomstalker, the things that I have in position could clear all that stuff off, where the Void Dragon kind of tries to find another place to dig in. And if I had moved him over to where the Wraiths were, he could have gotten in there, and the Hellblasters probably wouldn't have had as good of easy time digging him out. And he could have gotten in there and probably been more effective on that side. Now, granted, you still had Indomitor Kill Team, your new, Decimus?
Decimus.
And the Hellblasters that were over there. So you did have 3 units that were over there, but then he would have had the backing of like the Wraiths and stuff like that, which would have taken attention away from the Wraiths and the Doomstalker. Instead, he didn't really take attention away from anything because the Fortis Kill Team really didn't have any targets in the backfield, and I just gave it targets. And the Hellblasters in the middle didn't really have any good targets, and I just gave them a target. So some of the target priority there was probably a little wonky in that aspect, so probably a little bit different. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you were traded with the wrong trade piece. You know, I had cleanse or whatever, so I threw my JPI out there, 90-point unit of jump pack intercessors, and then you traded that with the Void Dragon. So 300 points into my 90 points. And of course, the thing with the Anvil Siege Force is that if I put a whole bunch of units out there, you're going to shoot at some, but the ones that get to stand still are going to get +1 to hit with all their heavies, and then +1 to wound if they didn't move and they already have the heavy weapon keyword. So they do pretty well. Like, I didn't even oath the Void Dragon when I tried to kill him, because I had the Hellblasters shoot and they were standing still, and then I had the Fortis Kill Team shoot, and I spent 2 CP to give them full rerolls to wound, but because they were standing still, they were hitting on 2s with getting +1 to wound because they were with their heavy weapons. So, it was pretty effective as far as just being able to choose multiple targets. You know, you only have 1 oath in this detachment, but the fact that the things that sit still hit on 2s makes it really strong.
Yeah. I mean, also in the same mindset, I was thinking about it just now, is if I put the Void Dragon in strategic, you can come on from a tape, kind of keep you honest and make you go, okay, so where is this thing going to start the board from? And if you don't have enough things that are able to cover every board edge, then he can come in from a table edge and just go, I'm going to own this side of the field. So probably, strategic probably isn't the place I want him to go, but hanging him back where I had him on that piece of terrain and hanging him back and threaten those objectives a little more, a little bit longer, clearing those pieces. I think I got a little too jumpy and was like, okay, I'm not doing anything, and moved out. And I think into your list, that's actually what I probably should have done, was just continue to stay back. And as you throw your throwaway pieces up there, I pick them up. And then I go, okay, well, now you have to put something out here to take these points, or I'm going to, with the Wraiths over on the one side, I had the Doomstalker over there and start making you have to dedicate things. And once I see all the kill teams and stuff start to move over there, Void Dragon could have pushed into there instead of moving to center. Again, like you said, picking up a 5-man jump intercessor and then doing nothing. My thought was on it, I'm going to put this big bulky thing here and make you have to reveal stuff to take him down, which then in turn I can pick that stuff up. And the thing was, I ended up just giving your units something to do when some units would have had absolutely nothing to do.
Give us some enrichment, something to play with.
Yeah, I could have spent more. I mean, the Doomstalker facing down center field had no threats to it because I got a 1 CP to 18-inch low op it. I do feel like my Geomancer was out of position, though, for this game. He ended up doing pretty well into the Wraiths. Early, I thought he was out of position because I could have used him more over with the Immortals. But the Immortals ran into the Resurrection Orb problem, and that's you get D6 res, and when you roll a 1, that means you get 1 dude, and that's not really worth it.
Yep.
So that kind of hurt a lot in multiple ways, but they did their job. They did really good. I got down to lost the 1 dude squad down to 1 dude. Wish he would have survived because then I would have been able to start reanimating into there and get some dudes back, and that would have helped a lot. So there was kind of some dice there. As far as like I said, where the dice were concerned, your dice were right on average. I mean, there was a couple of times where you popped heavy 6s with a 6-up feel no pain. That was kind of annoying. But aside from that, everything was just you have rerolls. It happens. I think anyone playing in a tournament would have been happy to have your dice rolls out of that. That was clean where it is. For me, my damage-wise was fine. I rolled pretty hot early on with the Doomstalkers in the early turns of the games. And then late in the game, I had a couple of times where the Doomstalkers kind of flubbed, but they gave me some really solid early turns with some good dice rolls and forcing you to spend command points to Armor of Contempt and things like that and whittle down squads. So I'm happy with that. And Xeris just kind of flubbed at the end. And it was just my armor saves for things like the Race and the Void Dragon, those 4-up invulns. I think if we actually added it up, I don't feel like I made really that many 4-up invulns over the course of the game.
Yeah, it's probably a little below average.
By little, I mean, I think out of like, I threw 20 4-up invulns, I made 2. So that kind of hurt, but I still can say it truthfully. It was the Void Dragon. It's either A, it's not going to work for me. The synergy is not going to work for me. Or B, like we talked about, maybe I played him too fast and got too jumpy with 300-point piece and just moved him out to center and just got him shredded. So that's that. But let's go over and talk about your list. So let's talk about this. As you said before, your army wants to sit still. And you did have overall pretty good board presence. You were on 3 objectives for the most part of the game. Center objective was more or less a trap, and I fell into it with the Void Dragon. Never really looked like you were ever looking to go after that center objective.
No. Yeah, I mean, usually I'm not too worried about the hold more. I think I did get it once or twice in this game, but I'm usually focused on the kill more. Especially in Purge the Foe. I think a lot of times trying to get on too many objectives is a trap and exposes too much and gives your opponent more opportunities for kills. So the center here is pretty exposed. I wasn't trying to go for that. I just wanted to make sure I had to hold some and deny you the hold more.
Hold some.
Yeah. Just wanted to deny you the hold more, and it was tough in this matchup to do more than hold 3. Because of the exposed center. But yeah, Anvil Siege Force is interesting. It's got good, strong strats. If you can get the stuff to work, it works really well. Like that last turn, the Indomitor kill team with all the bolt rifles shot at the spiders. They didn't move, so they're hitting on 2s. And I used the strat to give them sustained because they didn't move. It was sustained on 5s. Because they were DeathWatch, all their bolters all have lethal. The bolt rifles and the heavy bolters all have lethal. So they were lethal and sustaining on 5-ups into Oath target, hitting on 2s, so I could just fish for those. That's why the 2 heavy bolters with 6 shots ended up doing 9 wounds. 9 3-damage wounds for their shooting. And that's great when it can proc off, we can get it to go. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to move. For most of the rest of the game, those guys had to move in order to get eyes on their targets and go where they wanted to go. So it's a very risky detachment, Anvil Siege Force. But when you can get that stuff to pop off, it really does. Having I was up to 6 CP at one point because I didn't spend anything in the first 2 battle rounds, and I chucked a secondary at the end of each of my turns, so I got up to 6 CP, which was hilarious. And then I burned right through it because 2 CP to reroll all wounds, and then an armor of contempt, and a shoot back, and then the sustained, and bam, they're all gone. So it's definitely is very CP hungry. That's why we've also messed around with it in Dark Angels, get the command point from Azrael, or in not Blood Angels, Ultramarines, where you either get Calgar getting the 1 CP from him, or Gilman getting the free strat from him. So it's a very interesting.
Yeah, it just feels like you have better access to some of the guns when it comes down to.
Yeah, the thing with the DeathWatch units is that all those guns have heavy. Most of the guns in the Indomitor kill team, everything has heavy, other than the aggressors. A lot of the stuff has lethal, so when you proc off your sustained, not only are you getting sustained, you're also getting lethal, which is really juicy. And when you do things like shoot back, and the extra strength in the Indomitor, and then getting the +1 to wound means you're wounding whatever toughness 12 stuff on 4s if you've not moved. So it's super strong. It's a good combination of rules. The Hellblasters are also really good just because they get their benefits when they're being shot and killed in your opponent's turn. And there was nothing in this game where it was super overwhelming, where the Hellblasters did like an amazing amount of damage. But the 2, 4, 6 wounds here and there done for them shooting back at you in your opponent's turn is going to add up. So that in my turn, it makes it much easier for me to chew through those units. It takes a while to kill Wraiths. It takes a while to kill the Doomstalkers, but if I start the turn, if I start the turn with 4 or 6 wounds taken off them, it makes it a lot easier. So
yeah, today then when you went into the Wraith, when you finished off the Wraiths, I sat there and watched as it was like, okay, 4 up invulns, 0. 5 of Field of Pain, 0. You went like hit for hit, wound for wound, fail, died. I'm like, okay, well, I guess they're just dead. Granted, again, at that point in the game, it wasn't going to matter. They were out of it. I'd have to say, though, in my opinion, looking at it, how many Fortis kill teams did you have? 2 or just 1?
1 Fortis, okay. 2 Indomitors.
And then 2 of the Hell. And I think this is it's something you've said as well, too. The biggest thing that was kind of like the non-factor was what are they called? The new kill team?
The Decimus.
The Decimus, make them veterans, and they're a harder hitting combat threat.
Yeah.
And in that,
as long as I can still have them, we're getting the standalone release of the Decimus kill team in the next week or 2. So we'll see if the data sheet for the DeathWatch vets still exists then. I hope it does.
The Decimus kill team, when they hit, they got walled by the Wraiths. Mm-hmm. And then the Geomancer, given the -1, also really put them in a position where they were not doing anything. And I just was looking at that going, okay, the 1 hammer swung, it did its thing, and now I don't care about everything else. So being able to still have the 4 hammers in there means that squad does a lot more in that aspect and be able to make that happen. Like I said, again, over the long-term stretch of the things, while I do feel like the saves for my army were very, very, very low, nothing can substitute the fact of losing a big 300-point piece like that over moving it in center. So I'm kind of on the fence if I leave the list alone and keep trying to play with it, because I don't want to waste a bunch of time testing into something that's not really going to work out that well. I'm still kind of on the fence with that, when it's like, okay, but did I just play the Void Dragon wrong? Should I have moved him to the outside in that sense? And now, like, the more and more we talk about it, I keep looking at that piece of terrain and going, man, if I snuck that Void Dragon back there, charged the Hellblasters after they were in there, what would you have done? I removed the Hellblasters. You do have the Indomitor kill team, but when it's just the Indomitor kill team going into them, that's not enough to take them down. And when the unit charges the Decimus kill team, they struggled with Wraiths. They're not going to do anything to the Void Dragon pretty much. So now the Void Dragon's at a point where it's like, okay, you can't take him out. 6 OC on this objective, he starts healing. That might have changed a lot of points on the scoreboard for me and being able to hold that objective. So now you got me kind of wondering on that Void Dragon. I'm like, if I should have played him more to the outside, if maybe my mindset around running a Catan is wrong, and I need to kind of look into that more. And then just, wake up in the morning and pep talk my dice and go, listen, we're supposed to make 4-up involves 50% of the time, not 5.
You made enough of them in the past. Now it's time to
No,
fail.
No. This is not a deck collection thing where
Yep.
I made them in the past, so now I don't get them now. No, that's not how this works.
That's how it's working
That's not
right
how
now.
that works. Yeah,
That's how it works in this game.
That's how it is. And then like the next, like the one game that we played afterwards, like I had one game then we played into your DeathWatch, and I could not fail a save. Like I was failing armor saves. I was failing 2-ups, but I couldn't fail a 4-up. So, but yeah, dice be dice though sometimes. As I said, my damage output was actually really good. So I did have that turnaround in the damage output where I was able to force you to use a lot of stratagems, and I did pick up a lot of units, even from long range. But I got to work on see about the Void Dragon, guys. Let me know. See what you guys think. Excuse me. I'll mute that out. Yeah. Sorry, you got to tickle my throat. And I'm fighting it. I'm losing. So let me know in the comment section. I'm really interested to have some conversations, kind of figure out, because I really want to start practicing more into Necrons. I'd like to run Canoptic Court and see what you guys kind of think in an aspect where maybe the direction I should go with this more, if I should drop the Void Dragon, go a different route, or if there's a different way I should be playing him. 300 points, that could be 3 squads of Scorpex, and that's more board coverage too. So, all right, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you and cough at you again soon.